Welcome to the Pluribus podcast. Wait, aren't you supposed to be driving this bus today?
I think the driver, I'll say you can go first.
Okay.
But I'll drive after. I'll take over.
We're doing this as a collective. We're the Lorehounds, your guides to vacating large cities in short order. I don't know. I was trying to think of a funny hook, but I didn't have one this time. I'm David. I'm one of the regular hosts of the Lorehounds.
And I'm Nichole. I'm one of the... I was going to do like a hive mind joke, but I blew it. So I'm one of the hosts.
I feel you. I was there too.
I'm one of the hosts of the Nevermind the Music podcast. We're an affiliate of the Lorehounds Network, and we've teamed up to cover season 1 of Pluribus on Apple TV. This is our podcast covering episode 5, Got Milk? We'll have weekly to weekly episodes. This episode came out a little bit early because of the American Thanksgiving holiday. So we have to wait an extra few days to resolve our cliffhanger that ended this episode, which I'm kind of annoyed by.
It was a very annoying cliffhanger, wasn't it? Yeah, they dropped on Tuesday. It was Wednesday at midnight GMT. That's sort of the way it works. Mm-hmm. That said, we are changing things up a little bit today. Nichole, you did the outline with Nancy's help, and you're going to be organizing us. It's great. I love just swanning in on a podcast and not doing a lot of work. But our hive mind, Nancy, the three of us have become one, and she is operating our feedback. So you can always send voicemails and emails to Pluribus at thelorehounds.com.
You can also write in on our Discord, and I'll say that, with Nancy's help, I wrote this out. Like, Nancy wrote all of this. I just copied and pasted it into a different document. I'm not going to take the credit. It's all Nancy's work. Please engage with her and us through Discord, through email, through voicemail. We want to hear everything you have to say about this awesome show.
And if you like what we do here at the Lorehounds and the network, please consider subscribing. We're an independent podcast, and so having subscriptions goes a long way into helping support not only the internal operations of the podcast, but also to extend the penumbra of our, sorry, I'm using big words, our community, the boundaries of our community, so that we can all be one together as a community. Links for everything are in the show notes for this episode. And as we said, Nichole, take it away.
Awesome.
You are running the show.
I love being in charge, like, so much.
Do you?
Kind of. I mean, I'm a teacher, so it feels kind of natural to manufacture situations. Right. And I think that this is part of that. Today on our podcast, we're going to talk about some hot takes from this episode, some big picture meta topics, take a quick break, then we'll go into some scene by scene analysis, mixing in your feedback along the way. That's a format that seems to be working really well for us. And then we'll finish up with just some updates from the network. But the first thing we have to talk about before we even get into episode 5 is some leftover feedback from episode 4. So Jacob wrote in a little bit late.
Can I just add?
Mm-hmm. I'll allow
Today
it.
is a... thank you. Right, I'm raising my hand. On camera, you can see me raising my hand. Today is a day for leftovers. So I was just noting the appropriateness of the phrase.
Oh,
so
that's very witty. That? Yeah, that's great witty banter.
For those who observe the American holiday Thanksgiving, I hope you had a good holiday day yesterday.
Yes, same. I love Thanksgiving. It is my favorite one, I think.
It is also my favorite.
Yeah. So Jacob wrote in with feedback from episode 4. They say, I'm a bit late to episode 4, but since it wasn't discussed on the podcast, I'm hoping you can point me in the right direction. The music in the pharmacy scene needs to be discussed. Maybe we can get a cameo for Mark, my co-host of Nevermind the Music, to come and help out. I couldn't count the meter, and it was very affecting in the scene. I'd love to know more about it. So this is a call to Mark. We know you're listening, buddy. We know you chime in often. Please, can you send us a voice message counting the meter in the pharmacy scene? Now, if you listen to our podcast, you know that I'm actually an expert meter counter. I've discovered that I'm very, very, very good at it, but I'm going to leave this one to the professionals and see what co-host Mark has to say. So you have your assignment, Mark. Get to work. And now.
I also heard from John Lorehound, and he has started watching the show, and he's pretty excited by it. So we may hear from him in the future. I'm not going to make any promises, but don't be surprised one day if John shows up in our feeds. Yes.
So we've arrived. Hot takes on episode 5, Got Milk. The main thing I can think of that stood out for this episode is how beautiful the cinematography was, like how beautifully it was shot. And I know that we geeked out over the very choreographed Sprouts truck scene before, but to me, this episode was even more impressive because it was just subtle and artful and really mindful, and not like that truck scene was very flashy to me. Like, we're showing off now, right?
Exactly. It was indulgent. It was totally indulgent.
And like, that's awesome. But this was more nuanced and artful. Kind of reminded me of that episode in Severance when they did like all the flashback. What was the name of it with the Dharma stuff?
In Severance.
Yes.
That was so long ago in the lifespan of a television podcaster that I have flushed that working memory. And,
oh my gosh. Well, it was just like
RAM. I've my cache of memory for that is gone. So I'm sure I would recall it if I know.
Yeah, there are just like some episodes of shows that are so beautifully filmed that it's not distracting. It just adds to it, but it does make you think like, wow, there's some real artists behind this. It's not happenstance. So that was my biggest hot take. I have other like scene by scene things that came up for me, but just how beautifully shot this episode was, it stood out compared to the others for me. What do you think?
I enjoy that take, and I totally agree. It was a lot more subtle. And I don't know that I appreciated it, the subtlety of it, till now, till you were saying that. The thing that is really capturing me this season is this bittersweet kind of opposites setup in the show. Visually and plot-wise and character-wise, it's giving me so much joy and so much, oh, look at that, and isn't that so good, and just real, like, I'm just wowed by so many different aspects of it. But at the same time, there is such poignancy and such, what do I want to say? They change the sci-fi nature of the show is to change this one thing to have this sort of RNA retrovirus thing that turns humanity into the hive mind. And that conversation of what does this hive mind look like and how does it operate and how is Carol responding to it? The degree of response to this is incredible. And I'm noticing it in myself, how times I'm just like, oh my God, Carol, like, geez, like you're a difficult person. But then there's the grieving scene with Helen's grave this episode that's just so poignant and so moving. And then other things like Carol's super clever, and the joined are such an interesting collective in terms of needing space from a toxic relationship, right? There's all this, how do we handle relationships in our day-to-day lives where we feel like, I need some separation. And so there's a whole bunch of like real world stuff baked into this show, which is at times silly and joyful and funny and visually beautiful. And so I'm just really noticing in myself that tension, that spread of response. And I know a lot of people are vibing with the show in so many different ways. And so I just really appreciate the simple craft that they put into that. Oh, let's like make a story about, this unhappy, quote unquote, unhappy person surrounded by all these happy people. And what do we do with that? And it's bloomed into this entire construct of, of people working through what would it mean if we were all one? What does that do to sexuality? What does that do to relationships? What does that do to expectations of politics and identity and child labor and all of this kind of stuff? And you're just like, whoa.
It's a lot. And, we keep saying it's a sci-fi show, and I know that's how they bill it, but it doesn't feel sci-fi to me. Beyond the basic premise, it doesn't feel like a sci-fi show to me, but I'm less experienced in that genre, so maybe that has something to do with it. But it's a coming of age story to me in a lot of ways about like how Carol grows and develops with these new variables. And we do see her soften, especially once the others or the joined leave her the F alone. She does she's like painting, and she's like nostalgic and sentimental in some ways, and we're not seeing that. And then I always keep reminding myself, like, we're 8 days out here in this narrative. We're like 8 days.
That's such a short time.
Which is not a long time. So a lot has changed in a very short window, and it's a lot to process. And I think now in this episode, we're seeing her kind of slow down and work through some stuff because they're leaving her alone. Like maybe she needed space too.
Yeah.
Maybe they knew that, and that's what they're giving her.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So I think we should just keep grinding forward and talk about some meta topics of this episode. One thing we've never spoken of before that I can't believe is that we've never talked about the title sequence. We've never talked about it.
And you mentioned it the other day when me and Mark actually got together and actually hung out in person, which was
wild.
Totally fun. I think the band at the second place we went to kind of dampened our mood, and plus we were eating and getting tired, and so we didn't really. But it was fun to hang out and look each other in the eye. It was kind of weird in a way too.
Weird.
Lovely Christmas time activity.
For sure. But I mentioned to you that we never talk about when the words pluribus come across the screen, that it's mimicking a fingerprint.
And I didn't notice that at all. I was just like, oh, that's cute. And then it's so short. And sometimes the title sequences can be big parts of the show, and then other times they're not. And I didn't really factor it for this show. So what are you thinking with this fingerprint motif?
Well, I just think it's just a nod to individuality. But maybe I'm thinking, are you a skipper? Do you skip the title? Do you skip intro?
It depends. I usually, when it's a big marquee show, and they're, especially a new show or a returning show, what did they do differently, or how's it working? Obviously Game of Thrones, Westworld, all these kinds of things. And then with Game of Thrones, they would change it. And with other shows, they wouldn't. So if all Severance, were they doing? They were doing some subtle things in Severance.
Season 2 changed. From season 1.
So there are times when it all depends on the show. I definitely will watch it at least a given show at least once fully to try to pay attention. And if they're changing it, then I'll get into it. I really liked how Alien Earth did it this year, where they sort of montaged it a little bit from before and a little bit of what to set up and move forward.
Yeah.
And give you some tones, but that was a unique show in that regards.
Yeah, I love a title sequence. I'll always play it. My husband's a skipper, and we get into fights about do we skip it or do we play it. But there's
one show I don't skip is Great British Bake Off, but that's to get the music and the vibe and the little.
Well, that's the Pluribus music is beautiful and like haunting in a lovely way, and I do like that fingerprint motif. So watch for that next time, and maybe in our next episode we can like unpack it a little bit more. There's not a lot to it, but I just think it really sets the tone for this idea of individuality. Right.
And all the little white dots moving around and rippling out. And bumping and forming. Yeah. So there's a lot of that.
And I wonder if it's like a real Easter egg for the future of the show. Like, we haven't talked about fingerprinting. We haven't talked about individual DNA at any point. And I'm wondering if that's like a nod to that.
Okay.
So I just want to like put a pin in that idea. And I'm wondering if fingerprints like become something bigger. Just like now we're seeing maybe milk cartons have been something big this whole time. And do we need to rewatch everything now? Do we need to go back?
Yeah, I love it, right? When that happens and you're like, oh man, now I have to go recontextualize everything.
Everything. Yeah. Oh, and we'll get to it. Any other meta topics from you about this episode so far?
No, I think a lot of it's embedded in the episode and the scene by scene. I can draw a highlighter across the thing around relationships and how we manage and mitigate different relationships in our lives, ones that are working for us and maybe ones that aren't working so well for us. And so we make some choices about distance and connectivity.
Yeah.
There's definitely some stuff. I mean, Carol being a independent person, but then calling to have her trash picked up, and this expectation that that she's still part of a society and having expectations that society serve her.
Yeah.
I think there are some issues around grief for sure. And yeah, there's some great cinematography stuff that we can talk about when we get to the scene by scene. But yeah, no other real super meta facts.
Awesome. Let's go for some fun facts about this episode.
Okay.
So Gordon Smith directed this episode, also episode 2, Grenade.
Okay.
Also, Ariel Levine has won 2 Emmy Awards for short mockumentary films that promoted Better Call Saul. So she played a part in manufacturing this episode.
Okay. I'm assuming, the writer. She's the writer. Yep.
And I know you're a big Better Call Saul fan, so I'm not. No offense, but just never got into it. No, I just never made it a priority. But the voice recording in the message that Carol receives when she tries to call the joint is Patrick Fabian or Fabian. You tell me.
Fabian, yeah.
Sure. And he played Howard Hamlin, which is a major character on Better Call Saul. So if that voice sounded familiar, you weren't going bonkers. It was a familiar voice.
I was watching the episode. I didn't get to finish it the other night, so I had to come back to it. So I stayed off the Discord for a couple of days. But the moment I heard, did I watch it on Tuesday? I don't know. It's all a blur because of the holidays. The moment I heard the voice on the recording, it is such a distinct voice. I hopped on the Discord and was like, oh my God, was that Howard Hamlin? And yeah, sure enough, it was. And some folks have posted some stuff. I haven't listened to the official podcast yet. I think they talk about it there. But he is Jimmy's primary antagonist in Better Call Saul. And it plays a major part of the story, that character. And to hear his voice and to know that they surprised Ray Seahorn. So she hadn't heard the recording until she was on camera when she heard it, and she had to hold it together during the scene to make sure that she didn't crack. And it's just it's not a story Easter egg, but it's a Vince Gilligan universe, MCU kind of thing, little Easter eggs that they put in there.
Can you imagine if co-host Mark was actually right with his quirky, fun, tongue-in-cheek email that he sent, wondering how this fit into the Vince Gilligan universe? Can you imagine if, it actually does?
He would never let us forget.
Oh my gosh, he'd be very proud. He's probably already proud that we're mentioning him so much in this episode. But yeah, Mark, you might be onto something. Way to go, bud. We're going to take a quick break and then come back with a scene-by-scene recap of this episode, incorporating some of your awesome feedback. So stick around.
Uh-oh. The holidays are really coming up fast, aren't they? But, to quote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, don't panic. Uncommon Goods has you covered, giving you access to thousands of one-of-a-kind gifts you can browse stress-free from the comfort of your own couch. And if Hitchhiker's Guide fans want to follow that book's other most important piece of advice, but find that you do not in fact know where your towel is, Uncommon Goods can help you out there too. From a wearable toga towel to a beach towel that doubles as a backgammon board, complete with oversized wooden playing pieces. Hello, my name is Alicia, and I am addicted to Uncommon Goods. I honestly can't think of another site that has something for everyone in my family, from my sports-loving dad to my foodie mom to my sister, the board game fan. Whatever you choose will feel special, personal, high quality. It will be something your recipients keep, something that makes them feel seen. Uncommon Goods likes to stock products from independent craftsmen or small businesses, which are often handmade or in the U.S., so you can feel good about where your money's going, especially since with every purchase you make, Uncommon Goods will give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. And bonus, we can help you score a 15% discount. So don't wait. Make this holiday the year you give something truly unforgettable. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/lorehounds. That's uncommongoods.com/lorehounds for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary.
Okay, we're back. Episode 5, Gut Milk. The runtime was 46 minutes, directed by Gordon Smith, also who directed the episode Grenade, and written by Ariel Levine, who wrote 2 short films for Better Call Saul. Really great writing on this episode. We're going to get into scene 1 at the hospital. So, at the Albuquerque hospital, Zosha's on a respirator. Carol answers a call from Lakshmi, who yells at her for making everyone cry, including her son. Yikes. She accuses Carol of causing Zosha's heart attack and then hangs up. Carol doesn't have a chance to tell Lakshmi that she may have found a way to fix the situation. Carol then asks for an update on Zosha. She gets a really rude response. Not the usual friendliness of the joined. We're seeing the joined get kind of annoyed with Carol. They're getting over it, right? Carol goes to take a nap while she's sleeping. Not only the entire hospital is emptied out, but also the entire city. Carol picks up the phone, and instead of getting a person, there's a recording from the joined telling her that they just need some space right now. Right? So some things I noticed in the scene on my second watch was the scene opens with a man in a hospital bed drinking from a milk carton. It makes me wonder how many milk references we missed before.
Right. We definitely saw Zosha drinking milk in episode 4 when Carol goes to see her. And she actually helps her open the milk carton. That's the first one that I remember, but I don't know what else might have been hidden in the background of previous scenes.
I did see on the Discord someone posted a screen grab from when they were loading the bodies in like the second episode. They were loading the bodies that it was into like a milk type of truck, a truck that had like a milk logo on it. Now, I didn't verify that.
That's with Zosha in Morocco.
Yes, when she's in Morocco, that the truck had like some milk iconography, but I didn't. I'm trusting that as true, but I did not verify that. So maybe who knows if that's like the truth or not. I haven't watched.
Well, I wonder if that'll play into as well the Soylent Green question, which is arising at the end of this episode, which a lot of people are rushing towards as a potential theory for what's going on with the cliffhanger.
I really feel like it's, that makes, we'll get there, but
we'll get there.
It's just too easy. It's just too easy.
It is, right? And we know that Vince Gilligan is and his crew are tricksy. They're very tricksy filmmakers. So whatever is the answer, we're going to be surprised and delighted by it. So
and delighted. I thought it was really cool in this episode too that they check to make sure she's asleep before they leave, because that
bro
matters.
Walks up to the window and like, stares at her for a second.
It's like super bro with his ponytail and everything. Like walks up to the window and checks to see, which I thought was really interesting, and I'm wondering why, if they felt like they had to like sneak away. I don't know. I thought that was just an interesting nuance. I loved that time lapse as well when she's sleeping there. I wonder. I have to listen to the official pod. I haven't yet, but I wonder if they talked.
It's been a busy week with all the with the holiday and such.
Have you listened to that yet?
I have not. We've been, it's just, I haven't had a chance to listen to a lot of stuff. That's just the way it is.
I kind of like it. I like having my own opinions. And then like, I like to record with you and then listen to the official pod to see if I'm right or not. I
will definitely do that with third-party podcasts. Sometimes I'll do the officials to get those insights. But then other fellow podcasts, I will often not listen to them, so that my takes are my takes. I can authentically say, I picked up on that as well. I didn't get that. And, and if I do listen to another pod and I pick up something from them, I do try to credit or reference that. So there maintain some integrity of
and another
stuff.
Reason to not be joined, right? To have our own opinions. And we don't want to join up just yet.
What happens to hot takes if we're all one? We don't get these individual hot takes, right?
Imagine if we say hot takes in complete unison next time and you just say our hot takes and it's completely the same thing. I don't think we're there yet.
No, we're close. We're not that close.
We're getting closer. Yeah. So I'm wondering if they talk about how they filmed that time lapse, if it was just lighting tricks, if they really did. I don't know. I just want to know the details of how they filmed that.
That's a really good question, because they have gone to those extreme lengths when Carol's on the video camera.
Right.
When she's high, they recorded all of that. They do a bunch of that kind of going to the nth degree. So it feels, that time lapse felt very complete.
Right. So I'm wondering if they are really method about it, like they have it in other areas.
That's ultra method. Okay, I'm going to go to sleep now, so I'm really going to go to sleep.
Maybe she was asleep. Yeah. So she wakes up. Everyone's gone. The hospital's emptied out.
Oh, can I got a couple of notes. Sorry.
Yes.
I need to go back.
Do it.
I think it's fundamentally unfair to other television shows when you start off a scene of an episode of that blue skyscape with the curtain thing, the hospital curtain thing in front of it. And you don't know what that thing is, right? These little ripples and these little dots, which is, you know what? That's very Pluribus. Remember, so in how the title sequence is all those little white dots, that curtain thing is all a bunch of little round dots into this wavy pattern form. Anyway, I'm stretching there, but that scene, that shot is so beautiful and so abstract, and then this beautiful abstractness dissolves into this very practical realism of a curtain in a hospital with in front of a guy or behind a guy drinking a milk thing. But just visually, it's just not fair to other shows because it's so good. You're setting the bar at this extreme level with one shot that you zoom out from, and then you realize what this thing is. It's just not fair to anybody else.
I felt like that throughout this whole episode. It was just so beautiful. The next part of this scene, she goes to the hospital. Oh, she leaves the hospital, excuse me, and goes to a nearby hotel and climbs up all the stairs to the roof.
I still have more notes. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, you should put them in the outline, bud.
I didn't have a chance because I was recording our Robert Redford Butch Cassidy City and Sundance Kid this morning.
I'm really excited to get to this next scene.
Okay, all right.
Beautiful.
I'll make it
go
quick.
ahead. Okay.
I just want to flag the handcuffs are still on.
Yes.
And to me, that was a great visual metaphor. The restricted thinking, the inability to... just the way that she's constrained in a way. I loved that. And then, totally the subtle signals of when the nurse leaves the room, the person who's acting as a nurse, the individual who was nursing Zosha's body, just quietly leaves the room and just doesn't say anything. That whole idea of, I'm going to be neutral with you in our interactions in our physical space. And just leaves, giving her no context for anything. So I just love those subtle clues. The background actors are amazing. The casting, who they picked for all of these different everyday people, and the visual symmetry and the ability for these background artists to fall into line and just do everything that they're doing. They're adding so much to the show. I just absolutely love the degree to which they've enrolled the background cast into telling the story.
They talk about that in the official podcast. They had the choreographer of the background actors on in one of their extra bonus episodes for their podcast.
Okay.
He was kind of wild and frenetic in a way that was very intriguing to me as a clinician, but that's a different conversation. And he talked about how they cast all those folks and how movement's so important to the show. Yeah. So there's a lot of content out there about that if you're really interested to absorb it.
Delayed response on you calling me out on not using that outline.
Okay.
Sorry, I just had to flag that. And I'm like,
okay.
I have all these excuses. I'm recording other podcasts and I'm traveling for family. But no, you're right. You're right.
Now I know how you must feel when I like jump ahead.
I have a bunch of notes in my raw note-taking app. I use a different app, and I just haven't translated them over. So I'll advocate for myself if I still got things to say about it.
It's okay. This is a brave space that you can advocate for yourself as much as you want.
Thank you. All right. Next scene.
Okay. Yes. Great cinematography. She goes to this courtyard inn or whatever and climbs up all the stairs to get to the roof so she can see the people exiting Albuquerque. But the scene or the shot where she like comes out of the staircase is just like is gorgeous. It's another one of those gorgeous scenes that you're just like, wow, this is a painting. This looks like a Baroque painting right now. So I just really wanted to shout out to that because I thought it was gorgeous. So
I had some concerns about was this green screen or not because the lighting and there's got to be some digital compositing going on, and I didn't know if they green screened her on that because it's so gorgeous. I was like
crisp.
It's weird. It really tripped my visual sensors out. I didn't understand what was going on. Totally.
It has to be something because how you're not
to get all the cars.
I don't care how much money you have, Vince Gilligan. Like you can't get everyone off the road.
So I think there's definitely some compositing going on, but then did they actually go up there and catch the light actually on top of that building?
I don't know. It's like really pretty, whatever they did.
And all these ribbons of highways running through this part of Albuquerque and that, the high point. It was just a really interesting, I just love them. They're all just leaving at the same time. It's just so, again, movement, and it's just, we're seeing the tail end. It's so good.
It's so good. Imagine being the last one. Like, come on, guys, wait up. Like, how do they decide? So we close out that scene and then we see our countdown. So we're at 8 days, 22 hours, 36 minutes, and 28 seconds. Seconds are counting up. No one's ever deep dived. I have to say, I'm rewatching Lost. So the numbers are becoming really important to me. Like, are these numbers meaningful? Like, should we be paying attention?
Right.
Are they all prime numbers? They're all even numbers. Are they all always even numbers? I'm
just going with that it's not important until it is.
Okay,
and
very good.
When it is, it'll be important.
This is great. That really grounds me because I'm spiraling out. I'm like, what do the numbers mean?
Exactly.
I need to finish Lost. It'll only take me another 6 years to get through that show again. We have some feedback on this scene specifically from the TCS. Last week, the episode was about Carol's agency, and this week it's about the joined agency, which I think is an interesting idea.
I like that. I like that take.
Me too.
That's interesting. They really are they're saying, you're doing things that are unhealthy for us.
Mm-hmm.
We are not able to always control our responses to your actions. And we're having a hard time processing that. So we're choosing to, this is like a total conversation of
it's
hey,
boundaries.
You know what? Yeah, totally. We're setting our boundaries and we're not being rude about it and we're hurt by it, but we still love you. But to be healthy, we need to remove it. I love this show.
They notably don't say we still love you.
Right.
They say our feelings about you haven't changed, which I think is hilarious. They're not saying we still love you, you're great. They're like, we haven't changed how we feel about you. We're not describing that feeling, but we need to take some space. They've realized that they can't change her, but they can change their actions and their behaviors. And that's super duper healthy and super duper evolved for a hive mind. So I say, way to go. And I think it did give them space to process their collective feelings.
Right.
And also, as I mentioned before, it gives Carol some space to just not have this barrage of input coming. And, she can just be home and do her Carol things. And that's helpful for this grieving process. We're 8 days out. A lot has happened.
And she can be a reactive personality. This came up on another podcast I listened to really quick. I think it was the Pluribus Diaries. And they read a tweet from somebody who mentioned that Carol didn't appear to have a cell phone in the first episode. She didn't have her own. And they were talking about how that's interesting. Is she the kind of person who would spiral into Waikaro feedback and community stuff?
Yeah.
send a text message. She's a person who can't necessarily not have the last word. She calls Manusos back up and, gives him the cabron line, or when they're having lunch, when she's walking away, she has to turn around and go back and have a last go at everybody.
Yeah.
And whenever that stuff is around her, she's always got something to react off of. And if, like you were saying, they're not around, so there's only her to react to herself.
And that must be really challenging and provide her a lot of room for examination on her own behaviors. But even in that moment, she manufactures people to react with and to. She starts, this is our next scene, but she doesn't sit by herself. She brings the others in through these recorded messages.
Right.
Okay. But before we get there, sorry, I'm a sloppy driver, but
you're fine.
Buckle up. Another
We're
bit
just going to veering.
We're
nobody else is out on the road here. It's just you and I. You can veer all over the road. It's fine.
Thanks for your support. Another bit of feedback from Eon, maybe?
Yeah, that's the way we usually pronounce
thank
it.
you. This episode brought home to me how layered thematically this show is and how dependent Carol was on, quote, society, unquote. We have this examination of individualism and society, yet I also see AI themes and social media and how Western society is fractured at the moment. I'll say for sure, and we've touched upon that in previous podcasts, that there is this overarching AI theme. Yeah. I think up until this episode, we're seeing that, yes, as the TCS pointed out, there is more agency on the join's behalf, and we haven't gotten to the point, or the AI I use hasn't gotten to the point of having agency yet. And, is this just a big metaphor for if and when that does happen?
Right. Yeah. And this idea that she is dependent on society. We're all dependent on society. We live in society. We require society. We require, the what did we call them during the pandemic? And then we totally shafted them. But that's a whole other topic. Essentials workers, right? The people who do a lot of the thankless, invisible jobs. Mm-hmm. I was always fascinated when I lived in New York City, all of the invisible jobs that are necessary to keep the city in operation, all the sewage management and all the trash management, electrical, water, all this stuff to support 7 billion people living in this very small area. It's really an incredible, when you start to think about it. And then when we just pull everyone away into this collective joined, and then Carol can ask for anything she wants. And then when they leave, just the whole thing, it really exposes the layers of society, how society is structured
and
in such a beautifully elegant and simplistic way.
Right. And like what we take for granted.
Exactly.
And we don't realize until it goes away that we need these things. There was like a garbage strike in the next town over, and all summer, no one picked up any trash. And it got to the point that school was going to start. And they were like, we can't start school because there's rodents everywhere. Everyone's putting their trash in like the school dumpsters. Like we're overrun. And that's how they ended up getting their contract, because they just let the trash pile up. It was easy to do. Yeah. Yep. And then people beg real quick for you to take that stuff away. and we see that with Carol.
We'll get to that.
With hilarious results.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So as I was mentioning, Carol can't really sit alone. She feels the need to engage an audience, and I think that's part of her nature. And we can see her kind of code switch into this audience engagement persona in this next scene, where she sends a courier message out. So Carol records a message to the unjoined, advising them that she's learned that there may be a way to fix, quote, the situation. She says that the joined basically told her by admission that they can't lie. So she pleads with the other 12 survivors to work together on a solution. She admits that some may be happy to become joined, but they won't feel that way once it means losing their individuality. So there's a lot about this scene that I loved. The fact that we see the bookstore version of Carol. We see her code switch right back into that. Like, she's got her blazer on. She's putting makeup on. She's going into work mode now. She's going into politician work mode. She even goes so far as to hide her bottles of alcohol from the camera sight line. She's like setting a stage up. You mentioned the handcuff before, and it's like
still on.
It's still on.
Having, I won't go into my past, but law enforcement was part of my past. Handcuff keys are everywhere. So all the time I'm like, Carol, just go get a key. Like go to the locker of the officer. It's probably on his car ring, which we find out later. But it was just such a beautiful metaphor for her thinking. She gets locked in and doesn't. Yeah. She's so smart in so many ways, and then in other ways,
she can't.
Not. And it's not that everyone's going to know where to find a handcuff key. So I'm biased in that thing, but it was just such a great visual that it was still on her.
And it reminds us that like she can never get out of her own way. And maybe she's someone that feels like she needs to be punished, and that can map back to her family history and her psychological history as well.
Yes.
But this isn't that kind of podcast.
We're not psychoanalyzing her.
Could it be? I'm kind of into it. She's not my patient, so I can't really say anything, and she's not even a real person, so it's tough to judge.
For me, it was an absolute visual metaphor for her way of thinking in a lot of different layered ways. Like Eon was saying, there's a lot of different layers in each of these things, and there's definitely some aspects of her personality that are handcuffing her. Like we all have things that handcuff us, right? That limit our potential and our possibility because we've made up some idea about who we are or who we're not and how we can be in the world.
But it's just so funny that like she went through all these lengths to like put a blazer on and like put concealer on and hide her alcohol bottles. But like if I was one of the other unjoined getting this video, I would have one major question, be like, why do you have, what's going on with the handcuffs? Like, how did we get here? And she never addresses it. Yeah. I found it very distracting when there was so much length taken to like be professional. She's got this thing jangling around. It can't be comfertable.
No,
I mean, I've never been handcuffed, so because I'm
she just carries on with it. But and then when she's recording the video, her presentation. She just assumes that she's right and that the humanity needs to be saved and enjoy that opinion, right? Is one of her lines, to the other. She's just so centered with, my observations are the correct observations. And y'all need to fall in line with me on this.
She's the main character, She's
got main character energy, as the kids
say. She's the main character of her own narrative, as we all are. And she is the protagonist in her own narrative, which most of us are. It's not often that you're the bad guy in your story.
And Seahorn's delivery of that self-righteousness is so palpable. It's so good. Yeah. I love this character so much.
And then I add like a gender layer to almost everything. I can't help it, but I wonder if the delivery would be like how it would play if it was a male character over a female character. And I think there's a lot of we can unpack with that in this show because it matters. It just does. So, and more on that probably later on. Carol demands now that 12 copies are made and distributed to the unjoined. She also asked that they provide subtitles in other languages, which I thought was like really trusting. Like, but they can't lie, I guess, so they can't wrongly subtitle her. I don't know. I thought that was a misstep.
Was it in this scene or was it later? It must have been part of this scene where she calls in to have the package picked up. Mm-hmm. And doesn't she say something about how biblically unhappy she would be if they don't do this? Like she's weaponizing her emotional response against them.
Yeah, she's a narcissist.
If you don't do what I want, I'm going to have an epic meltdown and kill 11 million people.
And it'll be your fault that I have this behavior.
Oh my God.
Right.
No wonder they want space.
They just need a little bit of space right now, guys. But yes, it's manipulative and mean, minimally, but also like definitely subclinical for sure, right? This that you're responsible for my feelings, and if I have a bad feeling, that's on you, right?
There's another little visual cue that I picked up with the drone scene where it comes to pick up the memory card, she's standing outside her front door, and next to her is a bush, which I think looked like a rose bush. And it's just there in the background. And I did a quick internet search, roses in Albuquerque. And it was like, yeah, the internet said, yes, you can grow roses in Albuquerque, but it's not an easy thing. Yeah. Alkaline soils, temperatures, watering it. And that they put Carol right frame and then this rose bush left frame, right? The camera wasn't centered on her. She was off to the side. The rose bush was to the other. How much of that is intentional? I don't know, but I just found it visually striking that not a hothouse flower. I don't want to go that far with a metaphor, but that there is a particular nature that's going on here that has to be attended to. And I don't wonder, and we can talk about this later when we talk about Helen a little bit more and her grieving, which I think is coming into the next scene. But there was a particular nurturing between Helen and Carol that is now absent, and how that's affecting Carol and how Helen, like in all relationships, how we depend on each other for things that we might not have or not as strong as in terms of behaviors and things. So,
yeah, again, we're seeing Carol as someone that is stubbornly independent, but she's actually pretty codependent. And I'm of the mindset that codependence is not always an awful thing. I think that there is definitely unhealthy codependence, but
it's gotten turned into a negative term when it's not necessarily a negative thing. There is clinically codependence is like clinically negative, but correct. Then you think like how your kids are codependent, you're codependent on your family, and Carol and Helen are dependent on each other. And it seems like Helen was more nurturing. There are things in my married life that I am so glad to have a partner who is happy to take on certain things. Yeah. I love to do vacuuming and make the bed and tidy up the house, and my wife loves to do our taxes, and I'm happy with that arrangement. I'm codependent for another human being to do my taxes.
Sounds great. I've just weaponized incompetence towards certain chores so I don't have to do them. I'm sorry.
Fabulous.
It's okay. I hope my husband's not listening. I don't think he listens. If not, the jig is up.
The jig is up. The drone shot coming in, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And I loved how they teased it by flying by the tree and stuff like that. So all great. Good training and then noticing that Carol at the end of the scene chooses not to drink before we transition to the next scene. She actually pours a drink and then says, "Nah, I'm not going to do that."
Yeah, we have a little bit of feedback from this scene from Cincinnati Joe. I wonder how Carol and the radio guy will get together now that she's driven away the joint. Yes, me too, Cincinnati Joe. Get them together. Maybe hunger will finally drive him to talk to them. After viewing her recording, he'll ask for a lift to see Carol. It'll be more than a lift, I think. He's in a whole other... Well, no. South America's not that far, I guess, from New Mexico.
Question, does she go to him or does he come to her? Is he just going to show up in Albuquerque one day?
I think he's just going to show up.
Okay.
That's my bet.
I'm down for that. I agree with you on that.
Because I don't think she won't leave. I think it would take a lot for her to leave her home. I think that she's really... And
they built this beautiful set for her house and everything, so they got to use it.
It's really gorgeous, actually. So we close. That's really great feedback, Joe. Thanks for writing in. Our next scene, we see Carol using the bed she shared with Helen for the first time. She's been sleeping on the couch up until this point. She has a hard time falling asleep. She grabs Helen's sleep mask, which sits on an Agatha Christie mystery book. We have more lore on that book coming up. It wasn't there accidentally. A pack of wolves attack her garbage bin and wake her up. She picks up the phone and demands all the lights be turned back on, all of them. I get it. Everything in this show happens in the darkness, and it freaks me out, especially towards the end of this episode. So in the morning, she cleans up the garbage and calls for a pickup. She doesn't doesn't follow their instructions about the maximum weight bag, and the drone isn't able to clear the street lamps and gets caught ripping open the garbage bag and spilling its contents out, which was hilarious. I mean, there's no universe exists that wasn't meant to be funny, because it was so funny to me.
Are we talking about that first, or are we going to say?
Well,
that?
Let's go through. We have more lore, and then we'll get there. I know you're eager to talk about the
cloche. I love the cloche of it all. Oh my God,
too.
what a great gag.
It's like keeps going. So Nancy really got a lot of great resources for us for this scene specifically. So before bed, she pours herself a glass of writer's tears whiskey.
That's what she did. I jumped the gun on the feed on my observation that she puts it away. I didn't realize.
I don't think she drank it. Like she.
No, right. She.
Yeah,
correct.
But it's this is just like a whiskey that a lot of famous writers in Ireland drank, and Nancy gave us a lot.
Wow,
on that.
That's the deep cuts here. I missed it. Yeah,
but you can check it out. Walsh whiskey, the maker of writer's tears, and there's just a very like obtuse metaphor there, right? So she's reading. She pulls the eye mask from on top of Agatha Christie's "And Then There Were None." This is the world's best-selling mystery novel and the 7th best-selling book of all time in any language.
Oh my gosh! I had no idea.
I never even read it. Have you read Agatha
Not read
Christie?
it, but I mean, there are variations of this theme in cinema, where there are. Yeah, where the subjects of the story get bumped off one at a time. And I think there's a famous movie, and they changed the title to "And Then There Were None," I think, because the title was a little problematic. And the title was
very problematic. We're not even going to say it. But yeah, the plot involves 8 people who arrive on an island, and they get a mystery invitation. Now that I'm reading, I'm like, oh yeah, this is like every mystery movie I've ever seen, right?
I think Rian Johnson even did it. It was one of his Knives Out.
Very recently.
Which don't come at me. I didn't care for the movie. I don't hate it. I just personally didn't like it. But when I was watching it, I was like, it wasn't novel to me, because I know this story, which this has been done a lot in prior years. So it wasn't original to me.
So I wonder if it's a big metaphor for this show, right? I mean, it feels like it kind of has to be one. So maybe in our next episode, we'll still see people starting to get like murdered, joined, eaten.
We'll see. Yeah.
Ground up and turned into substances and drank. I don't know. Jury's out. So another thing that I really thought of in this episode, and Nancy did too, like, why are there so many wolves? Like, are wolves in Albuquerque? Is that like a naturally occurring thing? But Nancy found out that there is a biopark, Albuquerque Biopark Mexican Wolf Conservatory and Facility that was developed a few years ago, dedicated to conserving wolves, which is one of North America's most endangered mammals. And once the wolves arrive at this biopark, they were limited from all human interaction, because they wanted them to be like wild wolves. So the minute we start like feeding them and like petting them and calling them good boys, they turn into dogs, right? After generations. So I was really intrigued by these wolves, and it turned Nancy was as well. So it was really cool to like see this research she dug up, that there was an Albuquerque biopark, and they kept the wolves away from humans because it did them a disservice. They wanted to help make them as wild as possible. So that's why we're seeing so many wild wolves in Albuquerque.
So I just want to point out the benefits to collectivism, in that we get to access Nancy is downloading into our consciousness this biopark information. It's
really cool. No, because that was the first question. I was like, are there wolves? Like, I don't know, maybe. Like, I'm not I don't know. I'm not a zoologist. I don't know.
I had a lot of thoughts and feelings about the wolves. These are definitely movie wolves. They're a little bit smaller and a little bit healthier than wild wolves might be. They're definitely not coyotes. Coyotes they do live and socialize in packs, but they're often solo hunters, and they will often work slightly together. But these are definitely a pack, and they're definitely Hollywood animals. They're, the scene where it was baring her teeth, which comes later, I was very like, oh yeah, this is a set shot kind of thing. But anyway,
like a computer. It wasn't like a
no. That was real. It was real. But that was a movie animal who was performing on cue. So
I wonder if they have an IMDb.
Anyway. I'm sure they do.
That was Cujo. That was him. So other feedback from this scene, Cincinnati Joe writes in some more. It's interesting that the book on Helen's side table was Agatha Christie's and then there were none. I doubt it's foreshadowing of the unjoined dying off, but maybe they'll eventually be joined one at a time.
Yeah, maybe. I think it was like, that's the way I kind of read it. Yeah.
That they'll just be like absorbed.
Yeah.
Jean writes in, Carol's loss of privilege in this episode was striking to me. The hive mind, which she hates with all her being, are/were literally at her beck and call. And when they're not physically present for her to tell them what she needs them to do, she threatens more death as a way to ensure that they'll do as she says. She even says that they abandoned her. It is really like a narcissistic reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting. Thanks, John, for writing in. It's nice to hear from you. Penny,
Jean, one of our co-hosts of Jean.
That. Come on the pod, Jean. Like, let's get after it. Penny says the trash drone scene is such a great micro version of the story. The drone, like the joined, is not prepared to deal with Carol's garbage. Right? The visual classic Vince Gilligan, reminiscent of the pizza on Walter White's roof. Oh gosh, remember that. Yeah. Mundane and absurd, simple and surprising. So now is your moment, David.
I love this. I love Penny's take.
Yes. Let's talk about it.
It's just so clarifying to the absurdity of the situation. I didn't even get the idea of the pizza until, the pizza on the roof. For those who don't know, in Breaking Bad, there's a scene where a pizza gets thrown up on the roof of Walter White's house. And now people go to that house in real life and throw pizzas on the roof, and they feel unfortunate. They feel very badly about it. The idea that even the drone can't handle the trash, I just love that. I had a drone for a little while during the pandemic. It was like a pandemic hobby.
Yeah, that's one of the middle-aged men houses that you get sorted into. The drone house. Yeah.
And just to let you know, I am podcasting in the basement again, so I'm dadcasting again at my in-laws' house.
He's surrounded by drones.
The first drone I had, I was flying it, and I absolutely lost it in the trees. It went crazy and flew off on its own, and I couldn't recover it.
They do that. That's weird. Drones, man. They totally do that. Like, what's
I lost
happening?
2 drones, and I was able to recover the one several times. The particular drone model I had, which was a popular brand, a popular company, the drone itself was way too lightweight and too zippy for. It was just a badly classed drone. But for watching the drone fly off and then get caught, I had such a physiological reaction to that. I cannot tell you how I was at once full of joy as the show is doing it, but at the same time, just like having that, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm watching right now. My drone thing is irreparably captured. So yeah, it was a perfect scene. And it also made me think of the 30 Rock scene where Liz Lemon fights the plastic bag that gets stuck in a tree. This thing where you are incapable without a bucket truck or something else like that. You're just as an individual incapable of rectifying the situation. And then that thing is just going to sit there mocking you forever and ever, not letting it go.
And I wonder too, if just like the Walter White pizza that stuck around, I mean, that was there throughout the rest of the show. Like we would sometimes, if I remember right, it's a long time ago, we'd get shots of episodes later, seasons later, and the pizza was still there.
Right.
I wonder how long this drone is going to stick around. Like, is this going to be a running gag like all through season 2, season 3? That drone's still going to be there.
When that bag open as it's hanging there, and we get the various angled shots, and then the bag just opens up at this perfect moment of like, oh, isn't that great? Oh, fuck. You get, the other shoe drops and you're just like, oh, dear God. It was so timed perfectly. I don't know how they ripped open the bag. I hope they talk about it on the official podcast. But the fact that the cloche was in there and then that the cloche becomes a running gag is...
I love it.
Just brilliant.
I have been using the word cloche a lot in my pedestrian life now that I've been exposed to it in the show, and people look at me like I'm a weirdo. And that's probably what you're thinking too right now. So let's take a quick break and we'll come back and talk about what she does with that cloche in just a second. Okay, we're back. Now we've got the cloche. We need something to do with all this trash. Carol takes it into her own hands, right? Or entering season 4 that we're calling Milk. When Carol takes her garbage to the public bins in town, she knows she can't get it in to the bin because of those like things that they put on so you can't throw out your household trash, right? They make it so you can't. So she takes that off, shoves her trash in, but she notices them filled with just empty milk cartons. The dairy, which is weird. It's just weird. The dairy is located in town, so she drives there to investigate. No one is around, but she finds large bags filled with the powdery substance. She takes one of them home with her and uses her hot tub chemicals to test what they are. She records another video message letting the others know about her find, although she admits that not knowing what it means. She starts to lose her temper and then re-records the message, which I think is a great sign of growth for Carol. Like she recognizes that she's losing it and dials back in.
Right.
And then a drone picks up her latest message delivery. Also, like she finds a dumpster full of milk cartons too. The milk cartons are everywhere. And it's weird. It's just weird. So in the factory, she notices that there's like a dripping dispenser and uses her finger to examine the drip. What do you think? But
she doesn't taste it. Yeah, she just sort of runs it with her finger.
Would you have tasted it?
Yes.
I would have tasted it too.
Yeah, I would have put a little bit on my tongue for sure.
Yeah.
I love all season long. They have been this is a character study. We're learning all about Carol and her responses and reactions to things. Kind of like, water over the surface. We can kind of see what boulders are underneath, based on what we're seeing on the top. And I love the fact that Carol is a kind of natural detective. She thinks through problems and is able to pick up clues and go from one to the other, so that she stops and goes back and goes, that's weird. That's the same milk cartons that I saw Zosha drinking. And, and then the dumpster, and I guess the dumpster scene, I guess there was some Breaking Bad tie-ins as well. I guess Walter White was involved with a dumpster somehow. I don't remember this, but I think on the Discord we're talking about it. That she's just starting to put two and two together. I did quickly look up the Duke City is a moniker, a sobriquet for Albuquerque. They are known as Duke City, and so that gets used quite a lot around things. So that it's a Duke City dairy makes in-world sense. I don't know if that's a real business or not, but
I don't know. But she investigates this drink at home, and then she records a message to the other unjoined, kind of giving them information about what she's found. She says that the drink doesn't smell. It has like a weird thin olive oil texture. It doesn't contain chlorine, which is great. That's information we've gathered from the chlorine test strips, and has a neutral pH, just like celery. I don't know why. I laughed so hard when she said celery because she said it with such like a disdain. It's just like her delivery of that word like really tickled me. I think I kept thinking of the joined as like just people that eat celery because they're so boring.
Well, I totally think this goes into the theories about what this is. And there's a natural theory direction that a lot of people are going in. So we'll see. We'll get there when we get it, I guess, to the scenes to talk about that.
I'm curious. We do see a different side of Carol in these recordings. Like she is measured. And again, she's trying to appear sane and balanced in a very unsane and unbalanced world. Very similar to what we were seeing on the book tour. And then again, she does re-record the message when she doesn't get it right the first time, which I thought was appropriate.
Yeah.
Still with the handcuff on.
And a note about her. We've seen her do this before. I think it was episode 2 where she asked the joined, "Is there something you can give me to help me?" I'm paraphrasing. "Stop my emotional outbursts so that I don't harm you." She puts down the drink in a scene, earlier scene. She has self-reflective. She can observe herself.
Yeah.
And make choices about her behavior, but she's not always successful at holding those, I guess is a way to say that.
So not quite, I've been saying narcissistic, but not quite narcissistic. Like a true narcissist wouldn't have that.
There would be no awareness of, right. Yeah. She is self-reflective.
I think she just needs her emotional support person to help keep her regulated. She has like a codependent relationship with someone to
apparently
help regulate her.
The support person line was an ad lib that they did with that. And I just love that is true about their relationship between Carol and Helen, as in all of our the people that when we choose a relationship, be it poly or singular. It's funny because we just this morning, I was recording with John and Alicia, our subscriber bonus episode for our movie club, and we were covering Robert Redford, and so we were talking about Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and that movie is actually very throuple-y. It's very poly because there's no jealousy between the three of them. It's all quite very involved. It's very funny. So yes,
I never saw it.
It's good. We need emotional support people in our lives, be they are legally bound or just our friends on our social network.
Right. I definitely agree. And I think that Carol's trying to fill that void somehow. Yes. And I think Zosha did it for a while, and now she's filling it. She's realizing liquor isn't the way. And she's starting to maybe reaching out to the other unjoined through these messages helps kind of give her a sounding board. And I think that she's a human that needs that.
Yeah.
So lots of great feedback on this scene from our community. This show has kept from Aaron K. Thanks, Aaron. This show has kept me on my...
our hosts of network podcast, Radioactive Ramblers. So shout out to them.
Yes, Aaron. This show has kept me on my toes every week. Carol's investigation was so impressive. That inquisitive writer brain is serving her so well in this non-apocalypse. For sure. And we see that in this episode too. She has like this intrinsic drive towards discovery.
Yeah.
And it's really inspiring and aspirational as someone that doesn't have that. I like research, but I'm not going to a warehouse at 2 a.m. Like, no.
In an abandoned city.
Why even? Like, it cannot wait till sunrise? Like, I couldn't get over that. I'll more on that in a minute.
I think it's a character point note, too, that she is driven. She is driven in business. She's driven with her writing. And she has that feeling of an imperative of fulfilling on her thoughts and her intentions in some ways very healthy, and in some other ways it's rather impulsive and unhealthy.
Yeah, it is like it's like an obsession and a drive that I think to be a successful author, you need that. You need that like this, like you have to find out, and you have to find out right now. It is really inspiring. Aaron, a little detective. Sorry, that was pejorative. A little detective on his own. Did some
we love you,
digging.
Aaron. It's not pejorative.
I'm sorry, I've never even met you, but I like what you have to say. Aaron says, I did a little digging onto the 7.1 pH clue. A few things that have pH around that range are whole eggs, cooked spinach, and human brain tissue.
No!
How do we know?
Green is people.
Imagine if it's all just brains. It's just the brains.
I remember in, was it a high school sociology class or was it a college one, where they talked about some brain disease that got spread because people were eating brains of other people as part of a cultural practice in some part of the world or something like that. And I was like, I'm never eating brains. It was a very clear memory from.
I'm probably not going to eat brains. I'm probably not gonna.
No.
Brains are pretty cool though. They're in like they might be my favorite. Might be my favorite bodily mass.
synaptic density, right? Is like, wow.
Oh, that gray matter, delicious.
Yes.
If it's really myelinated to nice fatty proteins. So I guess, like, if you're going to eat anything, a brain would be the thing to eat. It's like protein rich. It's,
I think you just need to have cooked right. It just needs to be prepared.
I prefer my brains ground up into a white powder that sits on my couch next to me for a day. I can't wait until she has that realization. It's like
You're
spilling
really going
out on
it, aren't you?
Well, like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, on my second watch, I was like, that's brains, right? Like my second watch, I'm like, that's like this powdery substance is ground up bone meal of humans, like, and it's just like so cavalier.
I assumed it was sugar, and they originally, when she steps on it and grinds her foot on it, when the crows are in there.
Oh, the crows, so cool.
And I didn't think that it was a Soylent Green situation. I thought it was like a sugar thing, like they were just making a sugar drink for themselves. Well, no. Maybe it is.
Maybe it is. I do think that, like, to say it's brains, it's just too easy. It's just too easy. I don't think they would make it that easy for us. I don't know.
Well, and like I said, whatever they do end up revealing, it's going to surprise and delight us.
I hope it does. Gnarls goes on to say, do the infected need to be constantly reinfecting themselves to perpetuate? Like, is it like a virus that wears off that they need to keep incubating themselves with?
Ooh, Gnarls in with a subversive thought. That's really good. I like that.
It makes sense. Like, any virus would need to be maintained.
And she doesn't drink it. Well, she's immune at this point anyway. That's interesting. Would the natural state of the human physiology try to revert back in some way? Would the
what's their white blood cell count on the joined? Like, these are, like, can we get a panel run?
I like it.
Probably not, but that's, I like this idea. Interesting. Right?
I hadn't thought about this. Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, and then Rocky Zim says the same thing. Essentially, I wonder if the stuff in the milk is actually for the RNA formula.
Yeah. Okay.
If it's like reinfecting. So a lot of folks in our community are
vibing
on that idea.
Okay. I like it. Got some internet wager points going on.
We get some internet, and if I know anything about Rocky, they're usually right. Like, sorry. It's really usually
Rocky's
true.
Just quiet, but he's there. He's sniping out these ideas.
Cincinnati Joe adding more value to our community conversation. In the midst of the world, the joined would need to hide what they're drinking. They wouldn't need to hide what they're drinking.
Correct.
Excuse me. Carol is the only immune person in the entire U.S. It's one of the many things about the joined that we as viewers would want to know, but details about them didn't happen to come up in conversations, which Carol intentionally kept limited, except to ask questions. She doesn't ask questions about anyone but herself. It may just be that those cartons in this facility were convenient to this parts of Mexico and they use something different elsewhere.
That was my headcanon.
Yeah, I think it just was convenient to have this as a plant, right?
Right, yeah, food grade. The cartons are convenient size for delivery. Maybe they don't need that much, right? You only need 1 or 2 a day or something like that.
And maybe it needs, because it's a live virus, it might need to be pasteurized. So
yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah,
the pasteurization of a milk plant would do that.
Okay.
Combined with a dog food plant, which would grind up bodies, and then you move it to the pasteurization plant to pasteurize it.
Wow, you really went for it. You really are in on this theory.
That's what you would have to do. Like, that's how, I mean, you haven't thought of these things? Like, that's what you would have to do. To get like a shelf-stable human brain protein drink, like, you'd have to grind up the bodies, refine it, get it into like a raw form, then move it to a different plant to liquefy and pasteurize. So
I'm going to blame the fact that I'm traveling and we had to prepare dinner. I was cooking yesterday. My wife and I were cooking yesterday, that my mind wasn't that far down the road, but I love that you went there.
Well, it seems like it seems very common sense to me. I'm so sorry.
I love it.
I have like a darker side.
Go. Your dark side is released on the podcast. You are free to spread your cloak or your cape or your wings or whatever it is that you have.
My crow, like some sort of crow themed. There's crows involved. I was so excited to see crows. Big fan.
We're learning lots about. Not only is this a character study of Carol, but it's also a character study of Nichole.
Like, I'm a little bit witchy. I think it's well known. dopamine, he seems on the same page. I'm sorry, but they add the joint are going to have to fake it as something else in places where drinking milk, gag, agreed, isn't common practice, and definitely not something served in little school cartons. So I was thinking about this comment that maybe they don't have to, they're only faking it for Carol, right? They don't have to fake it for anybody. It's only them.
Interesting.
And they all
right?
know
Maybe,
that they have to drink this goo. So maybe they just drink it.
Maybe elsewhere where this is really interesting. If there's no joint around, there's just trucks or it's just liquid. Like the whole delivery process is completely different. But around Carol, they're being mindful that she might question what they're doing. And they're kind of intentionally hiding. That's actually really insightful. I think that's actually really good. I hadn't thought about that either.
They don't have to. And maybe Carol's just like the lowest common denominator.
Yes.
And because they need this pasteurization process and milk cartons are light safe and
exactly.
Easily recyclable and sustainable.
Easy to fill, all
right?
That. Yeah.
That this seemed like the move because they had to meet Carol's needs and it also met the needs of the collective.
I'm loving all of this. I'm loving all
right?
of this hive mind thinking that's going on.
I think I'm one of them. I don't know. Anything else on this scene? There's a lot happened. We see where the scene takes us from the end of the drone scene through discovering, like testing it at home.
Yeah.
Right. And then recording the message and then sending that message off into the ether again.
I'm just digging CSI Carol.
I love it.
CSI
it is inspiring. So she has a pretty full day. Then she hears more noises outside and is horrified to see a pack of wolves digging at Helen's grave, which is heartbreaking. I kind of lost it in this scene because she panics. And you see that same, I think they did the same lens trick that they did in Grenade. And if the director's the same, the episode, it would make sense where they took the lens off and like carried it.
I missed
by
it.
hand.
Okay.
When she's running out,
they jiggle the lens in the camera, so it sort of gives.
They like detach it.
Yeah.
They like detach it from the camera and run with it, and it's that same frenetic energy. And now that I know it was the same director of both episodes, I think that makes sense too.
Right. Yeah.
So okay, cool. So she can't scare them away. She goes and gets the police car. That she still has, badass, and drives it into her backyard with lights blazing and sirens screaming, and the wolves go away, right? She falls asleep in the police car, and when she wakes up, she's able to unlock the gun from between the seats. So when she tries to get the gun at first, she can't unlock it because she doesn't know that there's a button there.
Right.
And you kind of have to know. If you know, you know there's a button there.
If you know, you know.
Right? There's a button.
There's also a lock. There's a key lock mechanism that locks it completely. But once it's unlocked, yes, there is a safety. Sometimes they hide the button into different spots, so it's not so easily found. But yeah.
But she wakes up and in the clear light of day.
Notes for your at-home apocalypse diary for prepping.
Right.
That there's a button somewhere that will unlock that.
There's always
when the car is off. Yes.
There's always going to be a button.
And you can find handcuff keys almost anywhere. But carry on. Sorry.
Add it to the list. So when she wakes up and daylight has cleared her cloudy mind, she looks and she sees, there's a button. And then she unlocks it. And then she has this realization like, maybe. Then she looks at the keys and she's like, there's the key too. And she so simply like just takes it off.
Son of a bitch.
And I just want to pause on the scene recap. And this one moment where she takes off, she like literally unburdens herself.
Yes.
With the handcuff. The acting there was it was such a nuanced moment in her face that I really read into, like, she realizes that she's been making things harder than they need to be.
This is the visual metaphor of the handcuff, right?
Right.
It's so beautiful. She has that moment of, which we often in our own lives do, a work situation, a romantic situation, a life situation, fiddling in your basement, trying to fix something moment, where you have that moment of realization, the penny drops, as sometimes people say. And everything just resolves and you have this moment of clarity like, I get it now.
Like aha moment.
Yeah.
You know that aha moment lights up on brain scans. You can see it when someone has that like the moment of realization. You can see like the activation.
I've even seen
really cool.
Somebody when they had a in a conversation and they realized something, like their shoulder posture changed, their physiology changed, and they suddenly sort of grew momentarily with that.
And that moment is why teaching's the best, because you can see it in your crowd, you can see it in your audience, in your class.
Ripple through,
when it's like, oh, I get it. Like, I get it now. It's really inspiring. So Carol has her aha moment that she's like, what am I doing? Like, I'm making things harder. I need to slow it down. So she drives. She has a great idea, and always great ideas here. She drives to a building materials site and fills the car with large natural paver stones. Really bottoms out on the way home.
She doesn't get a truck or anything. She just fills the
She's
cop
just
car.
fine. She can just get a new car. Cop cars are very durable,
they
obviously,
are.
right?
That is true.
She drives home and covers Helen's grave with the tiles. Hard work. She paints one of the stones as a gravestone for Helen. It was a lovely scene. And I really think someone's going to have to fact check me here. There's this band that I love, Crowbin. I can never say their name right, but it's this is great podcasting. I'm going to spell it for you, but it's KHRUANGBIN. They're a great musical trio from Houston, Texas. I've loved their music for so long. It's really unique and kind of like jammy and really lo-fi.
Okay.
And like uplifting, and it just makes me feel like clear-headed. This was the song. Yeah, they're awesome. You'd love them. This was the song that was playing when she was getting the pavers, and it's like this kind of morning has broken feeling to it. But every place I looked, I really went wild on this outline, trying to find like a track list from each episode, and this song wasn't on there. There were a couple that were, but this wasn't. And I know it's them. It has to be.
Got it. There is a great site. I forget the name of it. I was just internet search it. But there is a site that tracks quite extensively, and you can add songs if they're missing to. You can kind of Wikipedia it. But I think it's called what song or something like that. Anyway.
Yeah, I tried. I was like, because I wanted to know the actual track title.
Yeah. Did you Shazam it?
Oh, I guess I could Shazam. No, I didn't Shazam it.
Okay.
I guess I could just do that, David. Cool.
Sorry. Only a couple of years, I'm an amateur.
I don't know. I'm like Carol. I don't. I like deep dive and not go to the very obvious thing to do. Like, well, she could have just gotten the key off the key ring.
Right.
I could have just Shazammed it. That's funny. Maybe I'll have to, I guess. So check out them as a band. And also, if you want more witty and insightful music content like this, listen to Nevermind the Music. Available elsewhere on the network. Crumbin. I can never know how to say it. You'll know it. You'll love it. You should listen. Okay, so.
Quickly, there was some conversation. Is this the time in the outline where we can talk about the wolves a little bit more? Or
yes,
do you have
I'll
other
allow
things?
it.
Okay, thank you. I'm raising my hand, teacher.
Yes, love that.
There was some conversation a little bit. I only caught slight parts of it on the Discord about wolves and zoonotic transmission, et cetera, and would the virus affect the wolves? And I did a little reading and thinking about this, and so there's two issues. One, there is the way that the joint spread. I think this is a retrovirus. I don't know why we didn't think of that at the very beginning. This has to be a retrovirus. That's what you do with an RNA is you put into a retrovirus, and that's how it gets moved. Even though I got stuck in the lysenic cycle or whatever it was called. So the dispersal agent, we saw the jets doing a high atmosphere drop. So the question there is that UV radiation would be highly effective to break up or cause the molecule to not be stable. So that's a question mark, but conceit for the show. And then what other species are going to be affected by the RNA? And it has to do with how distant so if it's designed for human physiology, then you're looking phylogenetically how far other species are, how distant we are from other species. And as you move out, you have very close proximity, and then you have further and further out, just in the class Mammalia. And the wolves, which are canidae, and cats, felidae, are very actually close to human beings. They're not that far distant from us, which is why we love them so much. And so, yes, there is a potential for them to be susceptible. In more modern circumstances, we're concerned about zoonotic transmission with bats. That's that's always been a big concern and continues to be. And would it affect whales and dolphins? Would the molecule work in the water? Those are all really great questions. And again, we're just, conceits for the show.
Right. I wonder.
What works from the sci-fi storyline? And would the wolves would they join a collective? Would they be in a collective of their own from a species standpoint? Just like really fascinating questions. Like, what if, let's get high on the floor of our college dorm room and talk about, dude, what if?
Or in our parents' basement.
Yeah. In-law basement. Thank you.
Sorry. Cool. So, well, you think when we saw the wolves, the first time there was only a couple wolves and then they came back with more. So maybe, I don't think the wolves can be joined up with the humans because it just gets too crowded, right? Then are the monkeys in there too? And whales and every insect, every ant and
Right. Yeah, that would be,
And
was it
what's
only
consciousness, right?
I guess the other question is why the wolves were trying to dig up Helen's grave, because it's only been 8 days, so maybe there's not enough natural prey immediately around Albuquerque. So deer and elk and other large bovids like that are primary food for wolves. They'll eat rabbits and other things like that, which is as a secondary. So the thought in my head was there's not a lot of prey availability for them. So they're smelling the decaying corpse, and that's what's attracting them to the spot. So,
and maybe if they are these wolves from the sanctuary, maybe they weren't allowed to hunt, so they don't have those skills.
Skills, right. Anyway, that's getting very noodly, so we can move along, I think.
Yes, but I'm wondering if those questions are going to be addressed. I don't think that they can even scratch at that. It just gets to be too much. But maybe it does. Maybe we'll find resolution. Some comments about these wolves is, we had some feedback, really speaks to your ideas. Does this mean that the animals are afflicted too? This is from Alshalant. Did they know food was buried here? They seem to zero on the food. And they came with more friends the second time. So are we hive-minded? Because we're all thinking the same things. Go ahead.
It's very interesting with pack animals, how they communicate their intentions when they're hunting. And there's some degree of, I don't want to say, it's not mirror neuron, but it's kind of like synaptic overlays. Their hardware is pretty much the same. Their ability to learn and form new synaptic responses is not as maybe plastic. They have it. All mammals have it. All mammals can learn. To what degree and how much can the brain support that architecture? So a lot of pack animal hunting behavior is because they share very similar architecture and processing of the world.
Maybe,
and then they layer learned behavior on top of that.
Our decision making is rooted a lot in our personality, and their decision making is rooted a lot in instinct.
Correct.
So if they share the same instinct, and the same motivational drives, this biological drive, we're layering a lot more into our decision making as unjoined humans. Yeah.
Correct. With felidae, with cats, the instinct to chase and pounce and that kind of stuff, that's instinct. That's biological instinct. The knowledge of how to dispatch their prey is actually learned behavior. The mother actually has to teach the young how to dispatch the prey in various ways, neck bite, mouth, all these kinds of things. So they have to be taught that. Whereas just they see something run and they chase, that's instinctual. So there's an interesting nature-nurture question with pack animals.
Interesting.
Yes.
Wow, you're talking about epigenetic influences? What?
I'm just inspired by this podcast. So I don't know, what do you want to tell me?
It's a lot. I can't wait for my semester to be over so I can just deep dive into this more.
See, we need to grow our podcasting empire so you can just become a full-time psychiatry podcaster, right?
Yeah, more like psychology. Psychiatry is like the med doctors.
I'm
not the med doctor.
I always get those two
I
conjoined.
wish. No, just kidding.
All right.
A lot of people do. Okay, moving on. A lot of freshmen say, I want to be a psychiatrist. Like, you don't. That's not what you want.
Right. No.
Gnarls says, I'm actually seeing some symmetry now. The joined are coming for the dead, just as the coyotes are coming to devour Helen's grave. I love that. Yes, I'm in. And then our very own Hand to the Pod, Nancy, chimed in with the voicemail. Can you play it for us?
Here we go.
Okay.
Hi, Lorehounds. It's Hand to the Pod, Nancy M. We didn't get any voicemails this time, but I'm still willing to put my sing-song voice out there. So here are my thoughts about Carol and her grief. Carol will never truly get over losing Helen. I think the way she lost her is not something you can ever truly come to terms with. But I think in this episode she made some significant strides. The first one was when she finally decided not to sleep on the couch, but to sleep in their bed. She tosses and turns and finally reaches out for a piece of Helen, that being her sleep mask. Perhaps it still holds Helen's scent. More significantly, the efforts she had to put in to protect Helen's remains were epic. And then she hand-painted the headstone with such loving care. There's a close-up of her face when she's done. You can see that in that moment, she has made a step towards acceptance. Ray Seahorn's acting in this scene is just incredible. I truly can't wait for episode 6.
Very moving, this whole process of her covering the grave.
And I do think I'm going to go back to that song that was playing over it, because it's such like a hopeful, light, like clean energy type of song. And it really set the tone for me in a lovely way. It did feel like a breath of fresh air in this scene for Carol's character to find some closure and hopefully kind of move on in a way that she feels comfortable with.
The thinking too about the pavestone part of it and the hard work of it, besides just being beautifully shot, especially with the sunset, the gnats, and all of that stuff, just incredible visual composition. Grieving is hard work.
Yeah.
Right. It can be hard work. And she puts in the work.
Yeah.
To be there, to be with and process her feelings physically, like she's embodying the work and exercising her grief through the hard labor,
through like the catharsis of that.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
I mean,
and then that nod of like, you're gone,
right?
And I can't not ignore that fact anymore.
Right. It's day 8.
Tough.
8 days in. So we close out that scene. We enter our final scene of this episode, where we cover a lot of mileage in this last scene. Back inside the next day, Carol accidentally knocks over a bag of what I'm calling brain powder. She notices a barcode, and then like the investigative skills are so strong. And also it's nighttime now. Like this is when I'd be taking my melatonin and going to bed. But she's like, you know what? I'm going to Sprouts. I'm taking this bag. I'm going to Sprouts. I'm going to see if it scans, which is pretty smart. I don't think I would have thought of that.
Right.
And then it doesn't scan, but she compares the bag to a similar manufactured bag of dog food. It even has the same like pull tab on it. Like it's the same bag.
That to me was like, whoa, that is some serious detective leaping.
She's smart, right?
Yeah.
She finds an address of where that bag of dog food's manufactured. She drives to that factory. It must be 2 a.m. at this point. It's dark. No one's around. She's at this creepy dog food factory. The power hasn't been restored, so she's got this like horror movie flashlight in her hand. Somehow, even though the lights don't work, the freezer still works, which I had a hard time with.
I didn't think about that. Yeah,
it would all be connected, but maybe it's just cold because no one opened it. I don't know, or maybe the hive figured out how to do that.
Right, could turn off the lights to save the electricity,
certain break or whatever.
Okay.
I'll let it go.
Right. It was good horror vibes. Oh, it's good.
Oh my gosh! Like prop the door open. You kidding? I was terrified this whole scene. I was like under a blanket, scared. The room of the freezer is filled with shelves of produce. I would be hoarding the produce for sure. Carol peeks onto the tarp on one shelf. She stares for a second, like she doesn't recognize what it is at first, and then lets out like a loud gasp, and then that's like credits and credits.
Yeah.
I was terrified. I don't understand this drive that she has. Like, wait until daylight. Like, even to go to Sprouts and be like, you know what? I just like moved a bunch of pavers all day and like buried my dead wife again. Like, and like painted this beautiful painting. I'm gonna like take a shower, take a nap, go to sleep, and tomorrow really investigate this bag situation. But she just keeps grinding through,
driven,
and or there's like a sense of urgency that I guess I maybe would have in that environment. It's hard to say.
And she's determined to save humanity, right? This idea that for her, the joining is a kind of injustice.
Yeah.
And as she says to the others in her recording, until they come for you, right? You know, then at that very moment before you're joined and you have that sense of loss or regret that your individuality is going to be subsumed.
Right.
I think that's the crux of it for her, is this, the injustice of the lack of consent, right? That you're doing this without a consent. It might be fine, but it's not fine because you didn't ask me. Fine, you have a biological imperative, but you know.
Yeah. She has this sense of urgency, and I think that that's what I'm not tracking.
Yeah.
Is a lot of her acting is really cognitive, and her body language is relatively like laid back almost in some way. I don't know. I forget that, like, oh yes, this is urgent, because she does seem kind of subdued or in shock or something. So that's just something I notice.
Okay. Got it.
I don't know. And then if it is bodies, I'll say again, like, how gross is it that she's just been like, it's like been spilling all over her living room, and she's just like, it's like on the table while she's eating, and she's like rubbing the like
it. So it's not poisonous, right? It's not. Yeah. And
crows are smart. Crows would know.
And we have to remember, even though the joined are a collective conscious, physiologically, they're still inhabiting human bodies. Those human bodies still have circadian rhythms and circulation and blood sugar and all like these physiology needs. Exactly.
You have to nourish to flourish. That's what we say in our house.
Oh, check that out. That's a good one. I haven't heard that one before.
Nourish with baby bones. Okay, so more feedback. Oh, gosh. It can't be. It's too easy. Sorry, it's too easy. Cincinnati Joe says,
right.
Cincinnati Joe, practical as ever. I wonder how Carol finds all these random businesses in the dark. She doesn't have GPS. I guess she could get lucky if they're located on well-known streets, so she'd still have to find the addresses. Like, yeah. Maybe she just knows her way around Albuquerque, or does she have like they still sell Rand McNally map books at the store?
Yeah, I guess I'd be down at the Staples getting the Rand McNally, or my Thomas Guide or whatever. So,
do you ever like explain stuff to your kid about how things were before Google, and you sound like it sounds ridiculous?
So last year at Christmas, we were at this rental house that had a record player and some records, and my daughter and her cousin were, doing stuff. And I said, "Oh, girls," I said, "Look, there's a record player. Check this out." Put the record on. I spun it up, and I went to put the needle on. And not only was the armature broken, but the needle head was broken. And they just looked at me quizzically as I'm like, "Wait, the beauty of the sound and the music, like I'm building them up for this moment." And then they just kind of looked at me and just like, "Okay, bye." And they just walked away.
It is
and
really
like
magical,
in that moment, I lost the ability to enroll them into the beauty of the phonograph. And I felt very old in that moment.
I was explaining like a map book to my kid and her friend the other day, like before GPS, how did we find our way around? And I was like, oh, well, we would print out instructions from MapQuest. And
oh my God. Oh my God.
And then like before that, like you would just get a book and you'd have you'd have your passenger like sit with the book of maps, you know?
Or if you were going to visit somebody, they would recite instructions to you. Okay, now you're on Highway 5, and then you get off at exit 32, and then you take a left and the right, and then a left.
The fifth oak tree, like
exactly.
You turn down the lane. It's like imagine that. And they were like, "Who did you ask before Google?" And I was like, "I think we like asked Jeeves."
Well, even before Jeeves, right?
Remember that guy? Whatever happened to him?
Yeah, I don't know. That's fine. Moving along. Clippy. Jeeves and Clippy are hanging out in a bar, drowning in sorrows.
Clippy. They're like in a bag of bones in Carol's living room. It's gross.
Oh my God.
So,
digital boneyard.
Satoshi? I'm not sure how to say this. Zatuichi. Okay, cool. Writes in, what did Carol see? All the veggies didn't surprise me. I thought maybe it was a meal replacement drink, but she looked really freaked out. Are they drinking babies?
Oh, is this where you got the babies thing?
Well, I mean, human bodies die, and they said that they can't kill people.
Correct.
Or they can't kill things, but they're not going to let, it's also not efficient it isn't efficient to bury all that protein in the ground, to bury all those nutrients in the ground. It just isn't. I know it's gross, but that's the truth of it. But I don't know if it was bodies. She took a minute to recognize it. Like a body, you'd know even before. You'd be like, oh, watermelon, cantaloupe, a bunch of bodies. You know, it would be really clear. But she would like paused. Like she didn't recognize it right away. So I'm in the brain theory now.
Okay.
I think it's more about brains.
Do you want to get Pos and 20's feedback here?
Yeah, let's get
something to add.
Okay, cool. Pos and 20 regarding the end scene and what Carol saw. It has to be humans, right? I mean, hive mind, collective don't kill. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. But they sure can eat already dead humans,
right?
Preserving them and along with other stuff to make some sort of liquid.
So to tap off of your thing, and I think this was in the Discord as well, and I don't remember who it was, so I apologize to you whom I'm stealing your thought. I'm collectively taking your thought. Mm-hmm. Was it Zosha?
Yeah, I saw that too.
Okay. All right.
Was it Zosha?
Yeah.
But I still think
credit to whomever you are.
Yeah.
For that thought. Because that would have given her pause. Like, okay, dead body. Got it. Oh, wait, I'm recognizing this dead body. Is it?
But yeah, maybe. I still think like the dead body reaction would be really in your face. Like it would be really like right out there. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, that's just the magic of the show, right?
Absolutely.
We just have to wait.
So as soon as the episode, I had to break up my watching the episode. And as soon as the episode ended in that, I jumped on there and did a Circulate Green post. And then I scrolled back and they're like, there were 20 other Circulate Green posts.
Yeah. Like we already were. That's why I think like it can't. It's too easy. It's too on the nose.
Now, Vince Gilligan for episodes 1 and 2 totally is quoted as saying the invasion of the body snatchers was totally was it Invasion of the Body Snatchers? I'm pretty sure, or was it Night of the Living Dead? It was something. He was definitely homaging. He was
talking about, yeah,
he was totally doing a send up of apocalypse style movies.
Was that the Soylent Green, the Body Snatchers?
Soylent Green is a Charlton Heston movie in the 60s, where it's a futuristic society, and they just big spoilers. You guys don't come at me.
I feel like if you haven't seen it, like. Yeah. So I think like I know that. That's all I know. So Green is people.
So you Green is people. And great sci-fi movie. I don't know if Aisha is going to cover it or not. I should ask her on every single sci-fi film ever as a great sci-fi topic. I know she's trying not to cover a lot of zombie stuff because it's not really sci-fi. It's more horror. But anyway, that's her podcast. The idea that we need to recycle nutrients because at a certain level, can we grow enough? Can we process enough? And if you have to be clinical about it or to be neutral about it, but since we're doing neutral pHs, there's a lot of nutrients in the human body. So,
yeah, and we're wasting them, just burying them under pavers in our backyard. You know, we could be grinding them up, drinking them in a strawberry milk carton. Imagine strawberry milk. What are we? 12 years old.
Absolutely. Which I think that's the funny thing about the milk carton gag. As a sight gag, it's brilliant.
Yeah,
because it's innocuous. You don't notice it. And it is the cartons that we give to kids at school, right?
When we're telling them to like eat a cheeseburger for breakfast for lunch at 10:30 in the morning with some chocolate milk and like pretending that's normal.
Have you ever seen those videos
weird.
where they actually like show the granulated sugar by volume?
No, I can't.
Okay, don't. It's
How much is in the milk?
How much is actually in the milk in just one of those small cartons of milk? It's terrifying.
I don't really like milk, but something I do. I'll take back everything I said about strawberry milk a second ago. I think that might still be delicious. I don't know.
Oof, boy, it's so sweet. I can't even think of tasting it. I'm all down on the oat milk. I mean, I'm all in on the oat milk action.
I'm into the oat milk. It's not good for the environment, but it's good for our gut biome.
Is it? So I thought almond milk is more extractive in terms of how much water per individual almond, whereas oat milk, I felt, because we just grow oats, right? Like that works.
I don't know, man. I think we're really getting away from the plot here in this podcast.
We are. Let's move it along.
I think save that for your second breakfast.
All right.
So,
we've talked about it before. Anyway.
So that brings us. That's the end. That's the end of our episode and the end of our coverage of Gut Milk, episode 5.
Everybody, big round of applause for Nichole. Woo, taking on a full episode.
I kind of loved it. I'm in.
Good.
Yeah, it helps you out. Right. It's fun for me, and I get to have creative control. So I'm all in. But you get to do the outro because you're better at it.
Got it.
Okay, cool.
Well, just a quick roundup on the network news. John and Alicia and sometimes Mark, I'm not sure. John was away for a little bit and he's back and they're covering It, Welcome to Derry. I think they're going to do just a one-shot on Talamasca, which is an Anne Rice interview with the vampire world things. And I don't know how well that went down. But anyway, the other thing that just happened is that you might be interested in this. Stranger Things coverage is going to happen. John and Alicia, Alicia's watching it. They're not doing episode by episode. They're going to do one episode per batch of shows.
Well, I've already watched them all. They dropped yesterday. I already watched them all.
Right. So they're breaking them up though, right? There's going to be some released now, some released.
Yeah, 4 episodes came out.
Yes.
The day before Thanksgiving.
So I think they're going to do one podcast on that. They're going to do one podcast on the second batch, and then they're going to do one podcast for the extended episode that gets released on New Year's or something like that. Well,
if you need a third voice in that conversation, you guys let me know because I'm sure
they would be happy to have you.
It's so good. It's so good. Okay, I almost mentioned it 20 times today in our conversation, but I really stopped myself.
Okay, very good. We've been doing our top 10. Another big thing that's coming up for Lorehounds is our end of year top 10 TV roundup for subscribers. You get to fill out a survey and we do a bunch of data analytics. We have a way to aggregate and score all of that stuff. And then we'll post that in a blog post and we record a special second breakfast episode, which is normally exclusive, but we make it available to everybody. We release that on Christmas Day. And that's John, Alicia, and I doing our countdown top 10 TV shows. And then on Boxing Day, we release another podcast where will have recorded top 3 with all of our co-hosts and affiliates and other friendly allied podcasts. And that'll come out on the 25th and the 26th. So if you're a subscriber, you should have got a message today with instructions and a link to the survey. If you're not a subscriber and you want to participate, you can just go into the Discord and there's a top 10 channel there and people are already posting their lists and talking about and wrestling with, because this was a very difficult season or year of television. So people are having those conversations. So that is a lot of fun. Brian 8063 and I, who's one of our subscribers as well, did some special coverage of the Ken Burns' The American Revolution series on PBS. We did like a reaction podcast, not an analysis podcast. And so that was a lot of fun. And he and Marilyn Arpakila and I will be recording, I think, week after next, a season recap on that. Marilyn is a historian and a research librarian and understands a lot of stuff about mythology and whatnot. So we're going to do that. Our one shot on Predator Badlands is out. And that is what we have for that. Never mind the music.
Yeah,
Lionel
we have
Richie.
The Lionel Richie coming up.
Your ultimate holiday playlist.
Yeah, Mark and I came up with our ultimate holiday playlist, and that episode's out now. You can check that out. We also have you coming on for a sidetrack to talk about like generational music theorems and how music changes over generation. We've been teasing that for a while. I'll also add elsewhere on the network, Alicia, Marilyn, and I are getting together to cover Wicked for Good. Do a one shot on that. So we discussed the first Wicked, and we're recording this week on that. So that should be out pretty soon.
That'll be on the main feed as well.
Yeah, we just have to like see it and then find a time to talk about it. But it's all happening, right?
That's life.
Also, I'm seeing in our notes that Properly Howard is on a break and they'll come back soon. And Radioactive Ramblers is covering Fallout when it comes back this December. I've been catching up on Fallout and I'm like very, very into it. Okay. So I think the Lorehounds are helping me grow as a viewer of television by exposing me to all these ideas.
Is it a healthy or an unhealthy growth? That's the question.
Well, I am like neglecting everything else in my life to watch. I mean, I watched Stranger Things for like 6 hours yesterday, which can't be healthy.
No, John and I had earlier on in our podcasting career, before we had really met Alicia, and we were putting out like 12 to 15, 16 episodes a month of podcasting. Our spouses respectively had to have an intervention and sit us down and say, we need to. And so we actually put in some artificial caps on us ourselves and stuff. And then we met Alicia and then everything balanced out with the three of us. It's like, oh, good. We can actually.
Well, it actually works for me because my husband's been watching Fallout. We watched the first season, loved it. And he's like, you have to watch the show. And now I'm like, I think I want to watch it. So he's supportive. He's like, don't you have to go podcast? And then we can watch more shows that I like. I'm like, okay.
You guys, you're hilarious.
He's kind of sick of Love is Blind, I guess. He's like really eager for change.
All right. We just need to grow the network so we can all quit our day jobs and podcast full time. All right. I'm going to jump to the shout outs. Are we good?
Awesome. Yeah, this is great. Let it rip.
Discord server boosters: Aaron K, Tiller the Thriller, Duve71, Athena Ajalea, Lestu, Nancy M, Ghost of Perdition, Radioactive Richard, and Adrian. Thank you all so much for donating to the expansion of the Discord. It's by your donations, you actually make it a little bit more of a functional space. And that's really where our primary community gathers in an online way. And there's always great conversations going on. It's a really supportive and fun community. Lots of great takes, great moderation team, and channels for all the things we're covering and more. Like we have a very expansive thing. So there's lots of little niche pockets and corners. So thank you everyone for your Discord server boosts to make that a better spot. To our lore masters, we do have a Patreon and a Supercast, which is like Patreon, and people who are able to subscribe at a couple of different levels are lore masters, top tier subscribers who really make sure that we have a floor to stand on from which to podcast, basements actually to be in to podcast. Samartian, Michael G, Michelle E, SC, Peter OH, Nancy M, Duve71, Brian 8063, Frederick H, Sarah L, Gareth C, Andra B, Kwang Yu, Nathan T, Sub-Zero, Aaron K, Dally B, Mothership 61, Gnarls, Kathy W, Lestu, Jeffrey B, Alicia U, Ben B, Scott F, Stephen N, Julia F, Collie S, Il Mariel, Paul K, Rocky Zim, Jessica H, Red Zippy, the TCS, Dopamini, Catch It, Ellen R, and Adrian. I'm adding the Dopamini. That's like my own flourish on it. Adrian, who is always last, but always first in our hearts. Thank you all so very much for your contributions. We literally could not do it without you. Nichole, you're on for episode 6. You're going to run point on the outline?
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay, cool.
That sounds awesome. I can't wait. I hope we find out what's in that bag, the bone bag.
I think I won't say anything. I saw a screen grab of what's coming up in episode 6, and I was quite surprised to see, because I said something to you in person the other day that I didn't think something was going to occur, and I saw a screen grab that was completely contrary to what I said. So I was completely full of shit. So.
I'm like no spoilers. I'm a no spoiler. I want to go in completely blind.
You know what it was on the Apple interface? It has a placeholder for the next episode, and the image that they had for the placeholder, I was like, wait, what? And there's
I am going to put a blindfold on and just live through my life like that until the next episode drops.
Your purity is an inspiration to us all.
People say that about me all the time.
We'll catch you next week.
See you later. Bye, guys.
The Lorehounds podcast is produced and published by the Lorehounds. You can send questions and comments to lorehounds@thelorehounds.com. Get ad-free access to all Lorehounds podcasts on Patreon or Supercast, and connect with us on Blue Sky and join us on our Discord server. Links for everything are in the link tree in the show notes of this episode. Any opinions stated are ours personally and do not reflect the opinion of or belong to any employers or other entities. Thanks for listening.